Hey everyone, welcome back. Thank you as always for joining us. This is Miguel Antonio Barragan, aka Fight Fiend Migs, joined as always by my co-host Andrew. Don't get it twisted, Lapache, and this is the Mad Boxing Show, or Mad Boxing for short. Thank you as always for joining us, and once more, thank you for your patience because I am currently on I guess on a mini road trip. I had to come to Southern California, drive to Southern California to get my windshield repaired. So here I am in a hotel in a nice and cool Best Western hotel in Corona, California, and it is humid as hell over here. So I'm trying to blast the AC so I'm not sweating on camera and I'm not glistening and whatnot. So and that's one of the reasons why we're recording on a Monday. So as always, thank you for your patience. It's always means a great deal to us because we got a lot to talk about. There was a lot that happened this weekend and a lot coming up next weekend. But in regards to what happened this past weekend, not just inside of the ring, but also outside of the ring, that we're going to be talking about the results with the Ring 3 card, of course, first and foremost, because we definitely want to talk about that. The unpleasant news of one Gervonta Tank Davis being arrested, that we're going to talk about that. And then, of course, other things happen here. The announcement of Ring 4 card is going to happen later this year in November. And lastly, looking ahead at what we got coming up next weekend with Usyk Dubois 2 and Pacquiao Barrios. We will definitely go over. But before we get into all of those fine details, Andrew, what's going on, dude? How are you doing?
Hey, what's up, Miguel? How's it going, you guys? Everything's good. Just been relaxing at the house. Had a lot of boxing, right? So
Mm-hmm.
didn't really have to do too much. Friday night, Saturday night was kind of occupied. So it was just a fight week, baby. And it wasn't a letdown. I will say, it wasn't a letdown.
And we've got plenty of fights next weekend too. So we're gonna have quite a bit to talk about next weekend as well. But I definitely want to talk about, of course, this weekend. How was besides the boxing this weekend? Did you do anything else? Was there anything else on your schedule? Mowing the
No, because
lawn?
I'm recuperating Friday night, right, on Saturday
Yeah,
morning,
yeah.
and then after Saturday morning, hi, mama. My daughter just snuck in. Um, and then on Saturday morning, I waited for the fights to come on. Okay, so yeah, no, it was a lazy week.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fair enough. Hey, you know what? If I'm down with lazy weeks, especially if there's boxing on TV and something to watch, it's like don't even text me, don't call me. I'm gonna be MIA for the next few days. Because I'm not gonna answer calls. I ain't trying to. Hey, did you want to help me move? No, bro. I got some boxing to watch. Sorry. So, and that's not how I roll. But we'll definitely get started on that because you got to take it. It's Monday and you got to take Junior to practice, right? So we definitely want to make sure that get you in and out and talk about all the good stuff. So before we get into that, though, because I do want to mention later on in the show, we are going to talk about Pacquiao Barrios and the undercard, which does include Tim Tszyu versus Sebastian Fundora rematch. And I got some Tim Tszyu footage for you guys on the YouTube channel. So make sure to check that out. Please, leave, comment, or like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me know if, my footage was good or not. I was fortunate enough to be invited to Tim Tszyu's media workout last, I believe it was Thursday. And I got plenty of footage for you guys. So, let me know what you guys think. I tried asking a question. I wasn't sure what else to ask him. I'm pretty sure everybody had already asked him the same questions regarding the first Fundora fight, so it wasn't like there was anything new. But by all means, check out our YouTube channel because we got some good footage of his media workout and then, a little bit of a media scrum there. So definitely appreciative that I got the invite for that and I was able to bring that to you guys. But anyway, now we can get on to the topics. We can start by starting on Friday with the trilogy, the closure of the trilogy between Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, live on Netflix. And I believe this was it in Madison Square Garden again? Is that what it was, MSG? If I'm not
yeah,
mistaken,
yes, I believe so. Yep.
because the ring card was going to take place in another stadium, the Ring 3 card, I should say, which we'll talk about here shortly. But for those of you who don't already know, Katie Taylor got herself another victory, another straight victory over Amanda Serrano. That I don't know. I'm not entirely sure what Amanda Serrano's game plan was. I mean, I know what it was. And afterwards, she did explain it, but I'm not entirely sure why she went that route. It looked like she was totally fighting Katie Taylor's fight, wanted to fight her and beat her at her own game. It looked like there were still plenty of headbutts, although thankfully it wasn't too bad as far as like damage on the eyebrows of one Serrano. But Katie Taylor got herself another victory. They've already said they're not going to go for a fourth fight. Hopefully not. I do remember Andrew and I talking about the rematch should have been a little bit sooner from the first one. They tried to strike while the iron's hot for whatever reason. Katie Taylor, I think, moved up to 140 at that point or moved back down. I forgot what the case was, the specifics, but they didn't have an immediate rematch. I don't know if that had anything to do with whether or not this fizzled out or we pretty much are seeing the same fight over and over and over. But regardless, Katie Taylor got herself yet another victory over Serrano, and it's got to sting. 3 losses to the same person. I don't know how Amanda's going to do it. But Andrew, did you catch that? Yeah, I'm assuming you caught the fight, right? Like, what'd you think of it?
Yeah, I mean, you just listen to her. She believes she won. Her team thinks she won. So that's all that matters, Miguel. You know, they're going to go home winners.
Right.
In her mind, she's 3-0 against Katie Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
No, look. First off, I got to congratulate. Congratulate.
No, I'm kidding.
No. Congratulate Jake Paul on the Netflix special. Miguel, everyone called me about it. Now, look, we went over the show where my mother-in-law got a hold of me, knew about the fight, knew the promoter, the venue. It was like, wow, she knew it all from that one show. Mm-hmm. The night of the fight, I'm getting calls from everyone. Everybody's watching it. My family, my friends. I'm expecting big numbers. My phone hasn't lit up like that in a long time. Good or bad, right? Some was good. Have some family members upset with the outcome of the fight, right? Mm-hmm. But overall, they all watched. I can't wait till these views come out. I'm hoping they did great numbers. All the fights collectively, I thought were good, right? It wasn't just the main event. Didn't stink up the joint that bad where it made you forget about how the efforts that the other girls put in, the other women put in. So congratulations on that, right? Now about the main event. It was the weirdest game plan I've ever seen in a championship fight, Miguel. You know, I got people here. I'm talking to my son, my wife. I'm not really paying attention in between rounds nowadays, right? You just got too much. You got 4 kids, bro. You got too much going on. And with that 1 minute of, all right, here, let me be a dad. What the fuck do you want? Right? Yeah. 1 minute's up. Go back to your room.
I know, right?
You wasted. If they asked me for a drink, and the bell's gonna ring. Gotta wait the next round, Miguel. I ain't playing.
Do you have the seconds out whistle? It's like kiss. Seconds out. About to start. Round's about to start.
So, freaking. It was a good fight. It was a weird game plan. I had never seen anything like that. I was telling them during the fight, it looks like she is just punching air. As if Taylor's just gonna walk right in, and then you hear her fucking. Is that her husband? Is the trainer her husband or brother-in-law?
Oh man, I don't know. I mean,
listen,
I don't think it's her husband.
I thought it was the brother-in-law. Okay. Why is he calling her babe so much in the fight? He calls her babe so much. I wonder if his wife questions the relationship. He calls her babe so much during the fight. I don't know what the hell's going on, but. I'm like, is this the husband or the brother-in-law? But whatever the case, you see in the highlights, he clearly tells her, keep punching. She'll walk into it. What the fuck was that? Listen, there was one point in the fight, there was 238 punches thrown and only 58 landed. It was a stat when it showed that both ladies had thrown. Taylor and Serrano threw the same amount of punches. It's in that round. Look at how many punches Serrano threw and missed. She's not ahead on the scorecards because of that. The defense is winning. And it wasn't even defense. I mean, it was just Serrano giving up the fight. Look, you guys, she moved up 7 weight divisions, right? I don't know when the steroids thing happened with her brother-in-law / husband. I wish Google that, bro. Let's see who's he married to. Is he married to Cindy or Amanda?
Good question. We got to find out. But anyway, go ahead.
She moves up 7 weight divisions, right? Very accomplished champion. Now, maybe it's just a matter of she moved up too high and she ran out of juice, right? She ran out, and I don't mean steroids. That was a bad word. She just ran.
I'm gonna guess.
Yeah, exactly. She went up too far, right? And Katie Taylor has her number, and that's just all. This is going to be the same fight over and over again. It's what it has to be. Look, I know her trainer got caught in the drug thing a few years ago, and I don't know what Serrano's her record or her progress has been since then. Has it been a decline or has it been steady? You know, that's something if she was a man, they would have already put the dates to fights and figured this shit out.
Mm-hmm.
If she was a man, Serrano's trainer probably wouldn't even been able to be in the ring last night. I don't know how he's gotten clear of all that in the boxing world, but he has. And she ran out of weight divisions. Let's just say that. I won't, I'm not going to knock her. Even though I don't like it. I don't like it because if she was a man, dude, they would have fucking been all up and down her record, seeing where her power was, when it left, when her decline hit. Just imagine if it was Reynoso who got raided and they found all this evidence on him. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Just saying. It was a big case back then. But no, she's too small. She's too small. I think she knew it and she quit. I'm sorry. I'll say it. I think she knew she was going to lose the fight, and she went in there and gave her fans a half-assed performance with the throwing punches at a fucking ghost. That's all I kept saying. I didn't want to say it again. I said it all that night. She's fighting a ghost. That's what she looked like. She was punching at the air. There was someone there that wasn't. We couldn't see him. Only Amanda could. I don't understand how the game plan. What's worse? Wilder, we got to have a new bracket in the yearly awards. What's worse? Wilder's fucking 360 getaway method he was trying, or this asshole's punch the air and she'll walk into it. Because they all do that. We've all seen that. You just need it. Miguel, did you know to be a pro fighter, you just, throw some shadow box, baby. And just let the fighter just come into your shadow box. It's easy work.
That makes sense. That's what I thought. I thought they throw punches and I'm just gonna go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Just walk right into myself. I think that's how it works, right? I mean, that's what I would have done myself. But to answer your question, yes, he is her brother-in-law, Jordan Maldonado. Who is a trainer and managed.
Sorry, he tells her baby way too much. Then I'm sure. Cindy, I think her sister's name is Cindy.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm sure she has questions at the end of the night. If I had a Puerto Rican voice, I would do it, but I can't do a Puerto Rican voice.
No, you can't do it. What's her name? I always forget her name. Perez, the last name Perez.
Yeah, Rosie.
I forget. Oh, Rosie Perez. That's right. Yeah. Can't one of those kind of voices. I wonder. Yeah, I would like to see the camera point to Cindy at that moment. He's like, "You've been overusing that word, babe, a little too much there. Tone it down a little bit, sweet.
Won't you call your baby? Call your baby."
But that didn't. Whatever instructions he was giving her, those instructions in particular were just not working. Clearly, it weren't working, and it just didn't look like there was even a plan B. It looked like it was going to go, the fight was going, and mind you, one of the earlier bouts on that card, if I'm not mistaken, did go, or they did do the 3-minute rounds. For some reason, they decided to not to do the 3-minute rounds here. So the fight seemed to go by a lot quicker, which it did, of course, with 2-minute rounds and then a 10-round championship fight. So by the time 3rd, 4th, 5th round comes around, you're halfway in, and Serrano is not changing anything. I don't know. I mean, obviously, if they believe they won, then at that point, I assume that they think or were thinking that they were ahead on the scorecard, so there's no point in changing it. Boy, were they wrong. I mean, yeah, some of the scorecards were probably, a couple of them I think were tight, but yeah, it just didn't look. And, it's just, I understand, to some degree, I understand Serrano's attitude of losing. It's like, oh, we did it again for women's boxing and yada, yada. It's like, look, We've heard that before, sweetheart. Let's go ahead and try to win the fucking fight. Let's do that. Focus on the damn fight. Focus on winning. Focus on getting those belts. Forget everything else. Everything else is kind of a consolation prize. So it seemed more like she has lost the steam, right? I guess we can say, and just doesn't have it, at least not at that weight class anymore. So whether or not she's going to continue with that weight class, I don't know, or move back down, because that's pretty much, I mean, she's pretty much running out of weight classes, like you said, right? So not quite sure what would be next, but they've already agreed there isn't going to be a fourth card, and I'm not quite sure there's much interest in the fourth one anyway.
There is no interest in a fourth fight. Look, I think I talked about this last week about, that's why I kind of took Taylor to win this fight, was because I felt like Serrano had been there, done that. She didn't really put up a fight about winning the last two fights, even though they were close. One with a tremendous amount of cheating. She goes, "Oh no, that's just her style. Back off. Leave her alone. She's a good guy. Good girl." No. I remember I was like, why are we more mad than Serrano?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I do remember that, yes.
Yeah. And now we're coming into this fight, and I'm telling you, I think she had made a decision that she wasn't going to go for it. And she just, was going through the motions. And I think some of that shadow boxing was going through the motions. Yeah, you could say that was a game plan that they had, but Miguel, some of those punches are 2 feet away. Like, I just don't understand. She wasn't close on some of these shots. When she did get engaged by Taylor, she backed up right away. It wasn't like she went, "Oh, okay, here we go. We're in it now." And you heard the crowd get up and go, "Yeah," and pin Taylor on the ropes. There was just none of that. Try to outbox her, try to stay on the outside. This is all just talk of going through the motions, a workman-like loss. She's had 2 of them. What's a third? And then after the fight, we'll just say we won and walk away.
Yeah, and when he lost, or when Serrano lost to Taylor the first time, I thought, okay, that was a pretty killer fight, fantastic, no shame in losing, right, to somebody like Taylor, but then proceeds to lose 2 more times. It's like, all right, and maybe a little bit of shame, please, do a little bit of shame, like at least feel that anger, get that pissed off that we felt in the last fight, or the one before that one, with all the nasty headbutts. There were a few of them here, weren't too bad. It wasn't like it was too crazy, but it wasn't. It's weird. It wasn't. We got less. We got fewer headbutts, but it wasn't really because Taylor was being careful with those headbutts. It was just because Amanda wasn't coming in. She was staying on the outside the whole freaking time, right? Because we probably would have gone a lot more headbutts if that was the case. But Amanda and her, I guess, I don't know. It just looked like she was, like you said, she was shadow boxing, right? And I don't know if there are shadow boxing judges, maybe they had her winning the fight. I don't know, because that's the only way. That's the only way anybody would have given her that fight. But it was. But overall, the card was good, huh?
Like I said, on that one stat alone, that the 58 punches landed out of 238. You lose a lot of rounds, you're missing that many shots, man. That it just doesn't look good. And then
they're not even missing shots because Katie's moving out of the way. It's because she's just doing this,
Yeah. And then Katie did a great job of boxing. I mean, let's not knock her game either. As when Taylor did get close, she land 2 shots, land a big shot, back up, and just box again. Very easy fight to win for her. She's bigger, she's beaten her already, so her confidence is through the roof, and she probably has the winning combinations that get through Serrano's game plan. You know what I mean? And this is the 3rd time they've seen each other. It was a lot easier this time. You've seen Taylor say she didn't want her again. There's no reason for it to go. I mean, she has 3 victories on the woman now. Let's let her call the shots, and it sounds like she doesn't want to do this again. The arena seems sold out, so I don't know what the money is going to look like. But I'm thinking Taylor wants to go back over the pond and put on a big fight over there. So, what I'm thinking about though is Alicia Baumgardner,
close.
Baumgardner, whatever. Is she close to Amanda Serrano where they could maybe possibly get it on? Because she's a smaller fighter.
I believe so. If I'm not mistaken, when Alicia Baumgardner unified the belts, she beat Michaela Mayer, and they were at 130, so super featherweight, if I'm not mistaken. And this fight, and I keep forgetting the weight classes because they bounce back and forth all the time. But I think this fight was at super lightweight. If I'm not mistaken, maybe 140. I could be wrong. Maybe it's lightweight. Maybe it's lightweight. But anyway, point is, if Amanda does go back down, I'm pretty sure In fact, she's probably really truly a featherweight. Maybe 126, I think, is probably where she's best at, man. So the fact that she fought Katie at this weight, which again, 135, 141, I forget which one of the two, but if she goes back down, stopping at 130 is not a bad idea. Going against somebody like Baumgartner is definitely not a bad idea. So I'm pretty sure they can something together. I don't see that being too difficult to make, and it isn't some sort of weight class that's a little too much for her. She's going back down. I'm pretty sure she can do it.
They got to see where the tickets sell for this. I don't know if New York has ran its course with the Amanda Serrano, tour. Mm-hmm. She's had a few fights in New York. She's lost them. I don't know if they go back there. Maybe they go to either Alicia's backyard or take it to Puerto Rico. I don't know if there's money in Puerto Rico, but maybe Jake Paul puts a card on there. I say Alicia because she's like the biggest name for Amanda, and Amanda looks like she's in this only for the money right now. You know what I mean? So why not try to go after the biggest fight? And that would be Bum.
It's actually
Baumgartner. Jesus,
yeah, I know that's a hard
not
one.
Maria. It's Maria. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm fucking sorry. Hold on.
It's like there's an H at the end. It's Mariah, actually, sir. Like, okay, sorry. Jeez. Excuse me.
Hey, you're talking to a guy named Lapiche. I don't give a shit. They butcher my name. That's why I am the way I am, you guys.
Every time I hear your last name or I say your last name, it reminds me of our boy Lee Hanish when he does his top ranked Bob impersonation, and he's just laughing. It's like Andrew Slapnuts because he can't pronounce Lapiche. I was thinking about that every time you say that. But yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, my last name is Barragan. That in and of itself, it's like I've heard Barrington, I've heard Barranca, I've heard everything from like high school teachers, PE teachers trying to do roll call. So understandable. I do my best to get at least the last names correct. First name is another story.
Right.
But by the way, these women were at 140, so junior welterweight is where they were at for this weekend. So I'm pretty sure that's too much.
That's pretty what?
Oh, said I'm pretty sure going back down, going to 130 is pretty much cake for Serrano. They were at 140. That's just way too much weight for him.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. Nice. Now look, did you take the biggest story of that night? What's the biggest story of the women's fight?
Of that particular fight or that of the card?
That night, that card. Drum roll.
Let me think about this one. No.
You don't know? It sounds like the return of Layla Ali, bro.
Oh, really? Oh, that because she was on the mic with next to Ward and everything.
No, she said she told Turkey, "Give me $20 million," and they said he's thinking about it.
With who, Shields? Is that what it was supposed to be?
It's Clarissa Shields, man. Champion of the world. This is a Rocky movie, man. Come on, Miguel. We're coming back for one fight only.
Is there any demand for a fight like that?
I don't give a fuck. I'll watch it, and Rehad will put it on. So, and hey, listen,
they'll fund it.
Yeah, they like throwing away money. So as long as they're throwing away their money, I'll be entertain me. Hey.
Hell,
she's
up
the
in the
goat.
ring.
Shit. Hey, she's the goat if she comes back and takes down Shields, bro. And you know what she said? She said, "Look at me. Does it look like I can fight still?" So I don't know, man. Hey, look, $20 million. Wouldn't you come back? She's probably limping every day, bro. But $20 million, you come back too. You know what I mean? So yeah, I thought that was the biggest news. What a shot in women's boxing, though, if they can pull a Layla Ali return to take on Clarissa Shields, because they got to give her a warm-up fight. I don't think it'll be just straight to the championship bout, but if Jake Paul and Riyadh, you think, oh wait, was this during the Jake Paul? Did I fuck that up? Was this during the Jake? Yeah, it was, because she was with all the girls, right?
Yeah. Okay. She was there. She was there with Andre Ward and I forget what her other name is, but yeah, she was there on the mic.
Okay, so yeah, dude, I like it. Shields needs an opponent. You know, it's boxing. We've seen these circus acts before. Hopefully, Layla Ali is being truthful when she says that she can still put in a few rounds. If she can, why not? You know.
Well, that's a good. I like the way you put it there. If she can, because how old is she? 47. She
Oh
will be
man,
48 in December. So by
Manny's
the
gonna
time
Manny's gonna give her confidence this Saturday, bro.
that's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. It's like, hey, we got Manny coming back, right? 46, 47 years old. And she's going to be like, wow. And then, of course, she hasn't taken nearly as much punishment as Manny. But again, it is, she has put her body through it, obviously, right in her career. But hey, maybe she preserved herself pretty well, the later years. So for all we know, maybe she's got, we've talked about it before. She's got fewer miles, right? So maybe she can do it. Maybe she can do it. That'd be pretty interesting if she come back, get herself maybe like a tune-up fight, and then go directly to Shields. That'd be pretty nuts. Yeah.
What a confidence builder for everyone, though. When have we ever seen athletes performing in the highest level at 47? And here we are. We're talking about Mike Tyson just came back to fight Paul not too long ago. We got Pacquiao fighting Barrios on Saturday, and now we're talking about. I didn't know Layla was 47. Jesus, that's old. But when did we ever? When did we get here where they're like 47? Give a fuck. I'll fight. What's up? Where am I going? Like what? You know what I mean? Like in the 80s, bro, we didn't see 47-year-old pro boxers, being like, yeah, I can still get in the ring. I'll fight. Weird that our health has gotten that good, right? If you stay healthy, keep a clean life, performing at a pretty high level in your late 40s, pretty cool. For a guy who's 45, bing, 2 thumbs up, Miguel.
Yeah. For someone barely entering their 40s, that's pretty promising for me.
Yeah, man.
But let's keep in mind that one of the biggest welterweight fights last year or 2023 were between 2 30-year-olds, right? Spence and Crawford. They were already in their early 30s by that point. I think maybe mid 30s point. So,
no, very true, very true.
Point. We know that's not how it is now, at least, especially modern technology, modern medicine, modern health.
Your Motel 6 Wi-Fi is starting to kick in, Miguel.
Dang it! Am I back?
I can hear you. Delay? Yeah, there was, but I can hear you now, bro.
Okay, cool. But very interesting. Yeah, let's see if she does decide to come back, because I'm pretty sure Turkey's going to be able to fund it. So let's see if we go there. But what did you think about the card overall? Like, pretty good. It was the nothing as far as Netflix freezing this time or anything like that. So everything seemed to go off with a hit. There's no major issues, major technical issues or anything like that.
Yeah, no, I was happy with the card overall. Did you see who got the bonus? Was the heavyweight? It was the lady. She said she waited 20 years. Forgive me for not remembering their names, but she waited 20 years to get into the limelight of women's boxing or whatever. She's actually educated. Her parents made her go to college and finish school before they allowed her to do a professional career. So she did that. She went to college. She finished. Then she went back to boxing, bro. She fought for the title. She fought that Marshall. Sarah Marshall, the girl that fought
Savannah Marshall.
Savannah Marshall, the one that fought Clarissa, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, right. So that one, it was that fight. She got fight of the night. $250,000 bonus, bro. Go shit on that, Dana White. The fuck? Women's boxing, $250,000 bonus night, bro.
Yeah, well, that shows to Paul's generosity. Yeah?
That's what the UFC headquarters sounded like too when Jake Paul announced it, eh?
You can imagine that. What is it? That Pikachu meme where he's like, like kind of stunned and shit. Like that's pretty much what the UFC headquarters was, right? Oh my!
So that's why.
All right.
That's why Oscar's wearing wigs again. That's why Oscar was wearing wigs again.
Oh Lord, Oscars. He just can't. He
Uh,
can't. No, he can't seem to help himself when it comes to that hunt. For whatever reason, he just can't seem
I
to help
know.
himself.
I know.
All right. Er- er-
There, you're back.
Did I go away? I'm still.
I can't
Okay,
hear
cool,
you.
cool. God.
There, you're back.
Okay, damn it, the hell. Okay, and we're back. We're not going anywhere. Let's go ahead and move on to the actual, the primary card of the weekend. The one being on Saturday. The Ring Magazine or Ring 3 card took place in New York as well. I forget the stadium or the specific arena venue, but it took place in
Was
New
it
York.
Joe
Um,
Louis? Was it Joe
was it Joe
Louis
Louis?
Stadium?
It was Joe something.
I think it's not. Yeah, I thought it
Yeah.
was. All right, keep going. I'll look it up. You keep going.
But we had quite the card. It was probably what we were expecting to be like the best card of the year. And it's going to have some competition next week with the PBC card. But regardless, this is the fight or the card that we've been waiting for quite a bit. When it was announced, we're like, oh crap, these fights are going to be on this card. And finally, it took place last Saturday. Main evented by Hamza Shiraz taking on Edgar Berlanga. That was the main event. Co-main event, Shakur Stevenson taking on William Zepeda.
It's
And
Louis Armstrong.
Oh, damn. See?
Joe Louis. I wanted Joe Louis. That's just me wanting it to be Joe Louis. No, it's a Louis Armstrong. Queens, New York, bro. Go ahead.
All right, Queens. And then and then we had a couple of other ones, right? Subriel Matias versus Alberto Puello. Great fight. So let's go ahead and get started on that one. First, the one fight that I want to kind of get off with, first and foremost, David Morrell and Imam Katayev, if I can pronounce that correctly. Were you able to catch that one? It was on the earlier fights, right before I think the three good ones.
Yeah, no, I did not catch the Morrell. I seen he got knocked down. I was like, uh-oh, but then he won the fight. So how did that happen?
So basically, he was controlling the first few rounds, and then he gets dropped, and then it turns it around, and then his opponent, if I can pronounce his name right, Katayev, was basically bringing it, and he was controlling the fight, and then towards the latter rounds, it seemed as though, because he's a muscular guy, it seemed as though he started to slow down, and that's when Morales started taking over, and he kind of took it in the end. Although I think Morales started a little bit late. I think by the time he regained control of the fight, it was a little too late, and probably should have gone. I would have been okay with a draw, but he ended up getting the decision, and I believe it was a split decision on that one. But yeah, he did get dropped, which is something that, yeah. Yeah, it's something that Benavidez couldn't do at 175, and it was kind of a weird, like, I don't know if you caught the highlight, but it was like an overhand right as like Morrell was kind of coming back, and I caught him right on the chin and momentarily stunned him. It was towards the end of the round as well, so he kind of sort of got saved by the bell a little bit. He didn't take too much more after that because I think the bell rang, but yeah, he ended up coming away with a victory, but it was a split decision.
Very nice.
All right. So you started watching it, or were you able to catch it from the Subriel Matias and Alberto Puello fight? All right. Fair enough. that one. See, this is kind of the contradicting thing that I kind of noticed. This fight, and we'll get to it later on because it was kind of weird. Matias was basically following Puello the entire fucking fight, and it wasn't like he was, what they call what is it, aggression. There's a term for it that they use. Effective aggressiveness, I believe, is what Harold Letterman would call it. And it just didn't look like it was effective at all. Yes, he would land on Puello every so often, but Puello seemed to be controlling him pretty much from the outside. Yes, he was backing away, and it did look like maybe that's what the judges were looking at, that Matias was walking forward so much. And that one, Matias ended up coming away with a victory. He is the new WBC 140-pound champ, and it was a majority decision. One judge actually had it a draw, while the other two had it 115-113 for Matias.
Now, I got to put in my complaint here about the card.
Okay.
Because this is why I missed the first two fights.
I
call my boy at 6 p.m. Was it you? I called you, right?
You don't remember it was me? Yes, it was me. You're like, I called some motherfucker. I forgot who the hell it was. Some asshole. It happened to be on my speed dial.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, the fights are gonna start or whatever, and you tell me they're killing time because Cepeda's about to walk in. I'm like, what the fuck? It's 6 p.m. What do you mean? Is Cepeda's already gonna walk in, bro? Like, when did pay-per-views start? Where the co-main event, at least they're talking about co-main event at fucking 6 p.m. That was insane. So no, I wasn't ready. I thought I was getting ready to go up the street, watch the fight, and be good. You know, it's 6 p.m. The fights are gonna start. We're already at the co-main event. Now I'm fucking flooring it. Dude, literally when I got in the house, the bell rang. The first bell rang to Cepeda's score.
You made it just in time.
Yeah, just in time, dude. Just in time. Yeah, no, I didn't. I was totally kind of thrown off. Like, when did pay-per-views do? Or is this gonna be a norm? Or are we doing like whenever the fuck we want to put on a fight nowadays? Like, there is no, you know, when you watch NFL football, when you watch NBA basketball and Major League, they usually have the shit scheduled, right? Guys already know when their games are going to be on. They know when the prime time, definitely know when the prime time games are on, right? But in boxing, you would think that pay-per-view is a fucking prime time sport and we would have one time slot for it. 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., everybody go to bed.
Apparently not.
That was my gripe on Saturday night, this bullshit. And then the fight's in New York. So I'm like, oh, it must have been there in Riyadh, blah, he fucking blew it. New York. We're in New York in the co-main event. I know over in the East Coast it's late, Miguel. But that was never a thing for us, right? Pay-per-view started at 6, ended at 10 or whatever, you know, whenever it ended.
Time.
Yeah. But most of the main events fucking started around 8 to 8:30 every single time. So.
Yeah, they will even tell us like ring walks will be at this time, and we kind of have a general idea of when the main event is going to start. Yeah, that seemed weird because even when I tuned in, I was already like 4 rounds, or the card was already 4 rounds into the Matias and Puello fight. I was like, oh, what the fuck? So I had, of course, rewinded, and then I started. I was basically behind at the time that you had called me. That fight had already ended, and then I remembered. I was like, oh snap! I rewound it to start it from the beginning of the Puello and Matias fight. So as soon as that fight ended and I got the decision, I fast forwarded back to live. So I was back to live, and that's when you called me. And then I kind of gave you the heads up that Cepeda is already gloved up and warmed up and everything in the dressing room. So I was like, wow, yeah, these guys were definitely a lot earlier than what we are used to. And I'm going to continue to say this once more because I have this bone to pick with DAZN without having the ability to stream pay-per-views from 2 different devices for damn, you know, it's like only one. Like, I got home, my pops was watching it already in his room, right? So I get home and my dad's like, hey, well, pop it in the living room. We got a bigger TV in the living room. All right, cool. So I go to the living room and I'm like, and then it's giving you an error message like, hey, you're already streaming somewhere else. I was like, oh, snap. So I had to go to my pop's room real quick and like, you know, I log out and then go back like, God damn, what? Why? Why the hell
took over Pop's TV? That's fucked up, bro.
I had to remove it from there. And I was like, Dad, come out of the living room. Damn it, watch it in the living room. Shit. It's a lot easier to watch it over here. But yeah. DAZN, please, can you change that streaming, you know, live events or pay-per-view?
It should at least be 2. Yeah, come on, that's ridiculous. Yeah,
for you know, an app that like prides itself in being, you know, this streaming service that everybody at one time they said no pay-per-view anymore. This is the future. Yada yada. Well, guys, get with it, please.
Yeah, talk about that boardroom meeting, right? They're like, how can we like tighten up to make sure that nobody's getting to watch this shit for free? You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't even allow 2 TVs. Maybe if we only gave them 1 TV, sir, then they could only have 1 room filled. You know what I mean? Like, that's so weak. That is weak. I didn't even think about that. And I do remember watching pay-per-views in 2 different TVs when I was younger. So there was a time when you purchased the pay-per-view, you could watch it in your room and they could watch it in the living room. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
There was a couple of times where like we would watch it, right, and order, and then mind you, this was like a Dish or DirecTV or whatever it was at the time. I think it was Viewer's Choice back in the 90s. But I would hear like the kids would be watching the fights in like the living room, and the adults would be in another room, and we'll hear them cheer first, and they're like, oh, something happened, and then like a few seconds later it happens on our TV, But it's like,
Right.
oh gosh, this is, I don't know, DAZN, please get with it, guys. But yes, Matias got himself a victory over Puello and has himself now the WBC Super Lightweight Championship. All right, so now the fights that we want to talk about, right? Shakur Stevenson defending his WBC lightweight title against William Zepeda, two southpaw fighters going at it. Now, I knew coming into this fight that Zepeda was not going to get a decision victory over Shakur. He was not going to beat him by decision. I figured the only way his only shot was to smother him, which he tried to do. Basically, the kind of, we'll say Chavez Rosario type of performance. He needed to smother him. He needed to have his back against the ropes, put Shakur up against the ropes in the corner. And that's pretty much what he did. Now, granted, he didn't connect as much because Shakur did his damnedest to get out of shots, but he sure received his fair share of shots. For as wide as the scorecards were, it seemed like it was a little too much. I knew Shakur was going to get the decision victory. I knew it wasn't like Zepeda was going to come in and put on some virtuoso performance and win a lopsided decision. I figured if it was going to be a decision, it's going to go to Shakur. But for as much as Zepeda did do, I can't imagine the scorecards being that wide that they ultimately were. And I think to myself, damn, so if Zepeda did anything less, like, because one scorecard I think was 119-109, which I believe is 11 rounds to 1. I'm like, what? If Zepeda did anything less, would he have not won any rounds? I can't believe all the effort that he put into this fight, and he got only one round. And then the other two were at 118. So look, I would have been fine with 112, 116, 8 rounds to 4. All right, if I'm being generous, I would have do 7 rounds to 5. But hey, 8 rounds to 4 seems okay with me. 9 rounds to 3 is a bit much. Some of these are just I don't know. But anyway, Shakur Stevenson came away with a victory, definitive victory. It was definitive, right? We knew as soon as that final bell rang that it was going to be a Shakur victory by decision. It ended up being a unanimous decision. There were a couple of weird decisions on that card. One of them being that Matias and Puello fight where I believe it was Sergio Mora was like, yo, I don't even know what to say anymore, guys. Like, I don't even know what the hell is to say about these goddamn judges. He was pretty much speechless. Similar with this Zepeda and Shakur fight. But Andrew, what did you think about the fight? What did you see? How did you score it? Give it to us.
It was an excellent fight. It kind of played out the way that I thought with Shakur being able just to dominate. Look, I think I said it last week when I picked him as the future pound-for-pound star. And I believe he did a good job of putting himself in that place, rising to get there. You guys, we're talking about a young man who dominated a world champion, an undefeated world champion, by a game plan he doesn't even choose to go by. 119, 111, you just said? Or 108, 119?
Yeah, it was 118, 110, and then 119, 109. Jesus.
And that's the style he doesn't like. So what happens if you would have fought Zepeda with the style that he does like? I think he would have called a knockout. His hands were good last night. His sharpshooting was second to none. The shoulder roll defense, even though I'm not a fan of it, and I thought Zepeda did a very terrible job of trying to fight through it. Too many headshots, not enough body shots. Where were the body shots? Where were the combinations? If he's doing this, if he's all the way back, I'm going to exaggerate right now. If he's all, you see me on the ropes? If he's all the way back here, Miguel, where's his fucking stomach? Looking right at you.
right in front of him.
Back. Hey, head, headshot.
Headhunter.
Come on, man. I think he needed. That's Chavez Rosario. Good comparison on what he needed to do. Chavez threw a lot more to the body, so he missed out there. Another one he missed out on is, and I seen this and I went back to watch the Trevor Farmer.
Yeah, Tevin Farmer and
Tevin Farmer fight number 1. And the reason why, Miguel, is because that's when Cepeda's supposed to shine. That's his coming out moment, right? He was gonna make a statement on that night. He actually gets dropped and barely wins, and Farmer has a lot of success during that fight. Gave Farmer another few checks, honestly. He has lazy moments in the fight where his punches don't come back to their home, right? They come down here. And that's how Farmer was able to drop him, was actually on a counter shot that his right hand went low instead of back home to guard. And so when you're talking about Shakur, talking about one of the best sharpshooters, right? And this is with me not knowing that he was going to stay in the pocket. I'm thinking boxing, right?
Right.
But even with that said, the shoulder roll, the combinations off those shoulder roll defenses, the parries, everything, it was a thing of beauty, man. It really was. He beat him at his own game. He shut everybody up. Hey, was it just me? Was anyone else like staring at the ring when I first seen it just to see if it was a shrinkable ring? Sorry, they got me all the way to the fight, Miguel. I'm a gullible guy, I guess, but I was like, that ring don't look like it shrinks. Okay. I don't see shrinking nothing.
You're like telling your kids, like, kid, look at this ring. Do you tell me? Do you see that? You see that corner? Is there a switch there?
Does it look like this motherfucker is gonna come in round 4?
Are they making the ropes smaller?
So, yeah, that was good. Didn't need it. He fought in a box. He beat the guy at his own game. Cepeda's got to be pretty disappointed today, and he had it all in front of him, man. He had it all in front of him. Dude didn't even move. Not going to say he didn't move because he did, obviously, but you know what I'm saying. He beat him at his own game. Great win for Shakur. Cepeda don't fall too far back, obviously. He's going to be there again. Hopefully he learns from this one. That head looks tempting. I know it does, but when you're missing, 4 or 5 of the fucking punches at a time, or they're being deflected, maybe you don't feel it. Maybe when he's hitting shoulder, he's thinking he's hitting the head and he's getting more excited, right? But when you really break down the tape, you're hitting more shoulders than you are heads. The head. So nah, man. Shakur is a real deal. He did get hit, so it's not like
more than usual. He decided to stand in the pocket, right, and get shots. So by combi box or whatever the punch that was the device. He got hit more than he normally has, right? He even in the press conference after the fight, he was asked, "Is this kind of fight you're gonna want to put on from now on?" He's like, "No, hell no! Like, I got hit more than I wanted to. I'm gonna go back to my boxing. I'm gonna go back to what brought me here." And this was kind of really more to show us and to shut people up and say, "Look, I can sit here and still beat this dude's ass."
No, he got jumped in. He got jumped in last night. That was his
initiation.
His initiation to Riyadh. Eh? They're like, if you want to come in here, you got to show us some man shit one time.
Yeah. Part of that's the Riyadh. We got to figure out a gang sign for Riyadh season, like RS. I don't know how I can do RS. Be like, yeah, RS Riyadh season right here, son. There you go. Is that what it is? Jesus Christ. Leave it to Andrew to know exactly what symbol to use. Good Lord. Yeah. Oh no, that's terrible. But apparently that was his initiation, right? That was his thing. It was his version of it, I guess. So he did what he told us he was going to do. He was going to stay in that pocket and get punched. He got punched a lot more, and really, like, if you look at it, I think his lip was a little red or bloody from the shots. He had a bit like a nick or something on the left side of his eye as well. So He got it. Now, was it just me, or did it just look like Cepeda's power just kind of dissipated? It looked like his punches were nowhere near as hard as they should be, and even when he was throwing to the body, it just looked like his power was gone. He was pushing his shots more so than pop, and it just looked at some point. I'm like, damn, does Cepeda not have the pop to hurt this fool? He was just like, he was throwing those shots, but man, it was even the one that did kind of like send Shakur off balance. It was more of an off balance thing, right? Yes, it did land and it counts and it sent him off balance. It would have been, if there were no ropes there, maybe he would have gone down, right? And that would have been a 10-8 round or something like that. But it just didn't look like he had the pop. Wait, was I missing something?
No, he's always been a how do you say it? Volume puncher.
Okay. Yeah.
Last night he was throwing but missing. He wasn't landing those little shots. Where these other guys that don't have great defenses, he probably lands 300 of those punches on you. You know what I mean? Where they start breaking you down. And so you never seen Shakur lose his composure in the ring.
Okay.
Lose the fight. Even when he got that stunned, you see him right away. He's smiling, picking shit off immediately. There was no, oh no, oh shit, hold on, staring at the corner. I'm hurt. No, he smiled and went right back to picking stuff off. Give the judges, I guess, credit for noticing that, if they did notice that, because I noticed it, but it's hard seeing that live, right? We have a whole different angle. We got replays, all of the above, right? But I did notice that it looked like Shakur was just too comfortable. Cepeda was headhunting way too much, and it was an easy fight to score when you look at it that way, right? That Cepeda, he's not landing. The things that he is landing is either shoulders or getting rolled off, and the counter shots were a thing of beauty. I mean, he was getting hit flush on his head when Shakur was firing back. I think I want to say he even staggered Cepeda, that the commentators didn't catch off a counter punch. It looked like he did make his back leg jiggle just a little. But he went right into a clinch. It's like he landed it while he was falling into a clinch, and that's what gave that opportunity up. But Cepeda did take a good shot. And that it was a hell of a fight. Shakur and Tank has to be the number one fight right now to be made in the world. I don't think there's a better fight that could be made than them two because of their age, their resume. It's
the styles.
Yeah.
Another southpaw that's got that really has the pop that may land the few shots at the end. Gervonta, and we'll talk about him later, but Gervonta is substantially faster than Cepeda. He can land that left.
Yeah, it is the fight for boxing. Crawford, Canelo, and all these other older guys, they're great, but their time is really past. These two are in their prime. Like, can we see some fucking lightning strikes right now? You know what I mean? Not this old time shit.
Yeah, and credit to Shakur for not clinching as much. Again, that was my concern. I figured he was going to be if Cepeda was going to push him to the corner and put his back up against the ropes, that there was going to be a lot of clinching on Shakur's side. Trying to get away from the ropes and trying to get out of the corner. He did that a little bit, not a lot, not to the point where I don't even know I don't remember who the ref was. That's how irrelevant the referee was in that fight, to the point where he was barely having to separate them because of the few clinches that there were. So definitely props to Shakur for that. He's at it. There were a few, but not many. It wasn't like it was something that I was more concerned with. When you mentioned earlier with how pretty easy the fight was to score, were the scores too wide, or is it just a moot point? Like, does it not matter really? The right guy won.
The right guy won. And like I said, Miguel, you want to give him 2 or 3 points, that's cool, but it's still a wash. You know what I mean? Like, it's a wash either way. Cepeda left a lot of points on the table by not going to that body more, especially the right hook. I mean, the guy was there on the ropes. He's not moving. You could do a straight left to the body, but at least give me the right hook 3 times when the guy's on the ropes for a minute. He's on the ropes for 30 seconds. Dig. We got to dig.
Yeah.
he was trying to throw more combinations of the head. I get punches and bunches or whatnot, which obviously scores points for you. But like you said, he was never going to win on points. You got to break this guy down. You've got to take the fight from him. You know what I'm saying? And he picked the bad game style. Now power, we'll see. Who knows what the fight would have been if he would have had a different game plan. If more body shots, I guess is what I'm going to say to that. If he would have leaned more on the body, because Shakur, I mean, sometimes Shakur looked like he was all the way over the ropes, bro. Like, what the fuck? Stop trying to hit his head. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, it's right. His gut was right there. And I know he threw some, but I'm talking about tripling, doubling up, both hands at a time, and then move upstairs. You know what I mean? Like, could have made it a little bit easier for himself, but maybe they'll learn from that. Overall, it was Shakur's night. He is part of the face of Rihad. Part of the face.
Yeah, and if you remember correctly, I believe they said that either his contract is up with Matchroom. So this was like several months ago, or a couple of months ago, where like there was a bit of back and forth between him and Eddie Hearn, where Eddie Hearn was like, yeah, you still got, this is another fight. I think they signed 2 or 3 fights or whatever the hell it was, and I think this was like the last one. And Shakur was like, no, dude, I'm not with Matchroom right now. Basically, him saying that this fight with Cepeda had nothing to do with Matchroom, but it did. According to what at least Eddie Hearn was saying. So if this fight was his last one with Matchroom, maybe we can get some sort of fight signed with him and PBC or something. I don't know if I'm not saying signed with PBC per se, but to work with them to have some sort of fight with Gervonta in the near future, which we will talk about a little bit later on, because Gervonta does have a fight coming up, not just inside of the ring, but outside the ring. But we'll talk about that a little later on. Okay, so I'm just going to take a look at some of my notations here. Okay, that brings us to the main event of the evening: Hamza Shiraz versus Edgar Berlanga. Now, the lead up to this fight was kind of fun. I did, I don't necessarily like the antics, the outside of the ring antics of Edgar Berlanga, but considering how docile Hamza Shiraz is, he is not the kind of guy that will rile you up. I guess we sort of needed that from Berlanga, like to get some interest in the fucking fight. I guess we needed some of Berlanga's antics, right? And he did his part, I guess, right? It definitely got us interested in it. And if anything else, I mean, if nothing else, it made us kind of, I guess it made Edgar be the bad guy. He was playing the bad guy role, right? As much as he possibly could. For nothing else, if he goes in there and gets his ass beat, at least people tune in to watch him get his ass beat. And sure enough, that's what happened, because Hamza Shiraz went in there and took him out in 5 rounds. We were, I'm kind of harsh. Maybe my criticism of Hamza Shiraz is that he just doesn't throw enough punches. He didn't need to, I suppose. Ultimately, he got the job done. But those early rounds, I'm like, dude, don't give those rounds away. You don't need to do that. Go ahead and just crack them, And then Berlanga was a little bit more cautious as well. So it wasn't like he was going out here throwing punches willy-nilly. He wasn't. But they were cautious in the first 2 rounds. I'm like, all right, cool. By that end of that second round, I'm expecting Shiraz to pick it up. Like, all right, dude, go ahead, start picking it up. And it just, I don't know. He just doesn't seem to be the kind of, I guess, volume puncher, as we were talking about, right? He's not that person, right? He wasn't. But he shut me up because he did it. And by the 5th round, he just came in and completely wiped the floor. I think it was the 4th round where he dropped him, right? He survived that round. And then the 5th is where he was able to finish a job. And really, Berlanga was already out in that 4th round. The referee was basically just there waiting for him to get punched one last time before he hopped in there and called it. And sure enough, he did. What did you think of that fight in particular, and I guess your opinion of Hamza Shiraz?
Well, I can't knock the Shiraz at all today. Starting slow. Can't say he started slow when he knocks him down in the 4th round, right? The fight was just getting started, and he was already ending it. Tremendous puncher, tremendous height, reach. They said he was 200 plus pounds the night of the fight. So this dude is cutting weight and then gaining weight big time. Right. I'm a fan of it. I don't give a shit. I believe if you make 168, you should be able to, if you make the weight limit.
Shiraz was over to what? Yeah, dude, so he looks scrawny as fuck.
Yeah. He's 6'3" though, bro.
Damn.
look at how he was towering over Berlanga. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe it's the frame. He just got a big frame, and we're not seeing it, but he's tall enough to hold it. You know, and it might be muscle that we're not seeing, right? So he's here. The chosen one for Riyadh is here.
He has been unveiled. We see he has arrived. He has arrived.
Bro, there was a Lamborghini in his driveway the next day, bro. I guarantee you there was a prince like, oh, he's my buddy. That's my buddy. Good guy. He's one.
My friend. He will always be on my right-hand side.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, look, they said he's from Pakistan, right? He's Pakistani. I don't know where
his ethnicity. I mean, but he's born in the UK. He is English nationality because he's born there. But yeah, Pakistan, I believe, said yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, I don't know what their relationship is in Saudi or to the Riyadh, you know, the Prince of Saudi. I don't know if they get along or if they don't get along. But he's Muslim, right? Let's not. Did you see him praying before the fight? That was some serious praying, bro. When I seen that, I was like,
no, I didn't see him.
Yeah, I was like, uh-oh. And Berlanga's over here, bang, yeah, you thug, nigga. Should suck this. Dude's over here like, Allah's the only God. He has chosen you. I was like, oh, shit, here they go. They're coming in high-powered. And they did. Look, I like it. He got hit. I'm still not getting away from the draw that he had in his last fight, even though now they're trying to say that it was weight draining, and now that he's 168, he's fine. So he's here. He knocked Berlanga's ass out. And look, before I even close this up, because there's not too much to talk about, right? The fight's kind of slow, picks up in the third, the guy's out in the fourth. There's not too much there. Berlanga really dropped the ball. And this shit, what a dork.
Yes.
My balls just hit the table. What a dork. This guy, fake jewelry, fake fighting. You get excited when you get laid out on your back. Like, come on, man. It was all bad. The money, you threw money at a rich man, and then he picked it up and kept it, you dumbass. What a dumbass. Oscar went and bought probably a bag of Coke off of your dumb ass. You know what I'm saying? You gave Oscar a night to party with your money. Yeah, that was smart. Dumbass. Everything he did this weekend. Look, I was going for him, but he was trying real hard with my patience this weekend or this week. What he did with Oscar was just absolute stupid ass show. That was a show, man. That dude, and Oscar was right. Oscar said right after that, he goes, he's going to lose. I'm in his head more than Shiraz is, and this will do. They know how to beat people mentally. You had the worst performance ever. Leave the champions alone. You better leave that legend alone, bro. He fucked your whole world up. You had fake jewelry on. You see Oscar bring a jewelry guy there, bro? He went and grabbed Berlanga's shit. Yeah, at the press car, he went and grabbed Berlanga. He goes, Oscar, it's fake. Berlanga turns around. Dude. So leading up to the fight, I'm not impressed with Berlanga at all. Then he gets flatlined. Dude, you're like a poor man's Gabe Rosado right now for New York. You're not the king of New York. You're not. I think Gabe Rosado got more respect on the streets than fucking Edgar Berlanga right now. Like, I'm going to go over it again. Fake jewelry, money taken. Right? Guy picks up your money and walks away with it. You don't want it back? You really threw that money at Oscar for him to keep? Are you fucking serious right now? That's insane, Miguel. I'm going to bring... Guess what? And then let's say it's hundreds. Let's just say, excuse me. Let's say dollars, right? I'm going to bring $500 and throw it at you, and then you can have it.
Yeah.
Oh, what an insult. Oh, you really hurt my feelings. Stupid. That guy is so dumb. So then you get to the fight. He gets annihilated. Berlanga is a hard sell right now. I don't know how. Look, he has been on the big spotlight twice. He's been beaten twice. His second beatdown is not even a real fight. It's not. Damn, that shit that he did with that Jaime Ortiz guy. Was that his name, Jaime Ortiz, in his last fight?
Oh yeah. No, I forgot the guy's name, but yeah, I think it was Ortiz. You're right. I forgot the first name.
Ortiz,
But
yeah,
yes.
something like
Yeah.
that. So 3 fights in a row where the guy looks like a joke. I don't know how they're going to sell him in New York again. Miguel, the praying, I was like, that was eye-opening. You know what was eye-opening to me? So fucking Edgar is talking hella shit about Oscar and then panties and the knit fishnet, all stuff everyone's already said, right?
Hmm.
Why the fuck does he come out there dancing to salsa music when he's not a salsa dancer? Do you know what a man looks like dancing to salsa music that really doesn't dance salsa music looks like, you guys? He looks like a fucking female. That's what he does, because he doesn't have the sway yet. He doesn't have the moves down yet, right? Berlanga, he looks so stupid. Reading the fucking lyrics off your phone as you dance, like, probably would make Oscar excited, bro. I don't know. I'm just saying, man. Oscar might be like, put some thongs on that bitch right there. Do that move again. Get the fuck out of here. He tells whatchamacallit to blow him. He's grabbing his junk, Shiraz. He throws fishnets at Oscar, and then he comes with the whack ass dancing at the end. It's just a bad week for Berlanga. I don't know how he comes back, dude. How is he gonna hit the streets again on that? I'm telling you, he's got to be on prison watch. Berlanga seems like a guy that'll go out and fuck his life up. You know what I'm saying? Like that. They better watch out for him. They might want to move him out of New York, humble him a little, take his fake jewelry. If it is fake, take it. There's no reason you guys be walking around with fake jewelry, man. There is no real men out here that are like, damn, you see Edgar Berlanga's chains? That's a real man.
That's authentic right there. Yeah.
He's so hard. You're doing it for the girls? I don't know what kind of girls you like. They're more into your jewelries than you yourself as a man, right? Girls are attracted to alpha males, not fucking jewelry. You're with the wrong chick. Whatever. I thought he was an alpha. It's a display of
money. It's a display of money. That's the intent. That's the intent, at least.
If they're rich.
Yeah, that's true. If they're rich. Right.
Once you're buying fake stuff, come on. Stop it. Stop it. You're lying to yourself. What a dork.
Yeah, once he was that.
And did you know the wig that Oscar was wearing at the end of the night was the one Berlanga threw at him?
Oh, was it? No, I didn't see that. Oh, gosh.
So Berlanga threw a wig at Oscar, and Oscar's all, Berlanga. Did you see?
Yeah, I saw the clip, yeah.
It's like, Oscar fucking hates you, bro. Will you stop giving him ammo? That man just don't care, dude. He don't care.
It's like the camera was on Oscar when he was, like, pocketing the money, and then, like, the camera goes off him, and he's like, let me pocket the wig, too. Let me take that.
You know he pocketed it all. He took the panties, too, Miguel. You know he did.
Yeah, he's like, oh, it's just my size. All right.
These are nice.
Yeah. It's like, oh, they're like rubbing up against the actual silk.
Now, this brings me back to one question I had for you, because you keep talking about Cepeda's scorecard. And not you keep, but you brought up, you brought up the scorecard. Do you think at some point Oscar's antics could jeopardize his fighters' progress in Riyadh? We knew that His Excellency was kind of upset with Oscar, right? When he brought up that BS. What question did they have to? The fight being on in the afternoon.
Yeah, to accommodate for the UFC card. Yeah.
Then we see I don't want to say he doesn't act like a man, because obviously he's a man, but his Speedo videos, his stuffing his pants videos, his, just everything that Oscar does that really what they want in Riyadh? And sometimes I think no, like they don't.
Well, he doesn't do it over there. So
at some point he's gonna. Do they even want him in the room? Like the Prince, does he really want a guy that has videos the way that Oscar has videos in the room? What is his purpose? Right? His purpose was to be a promoter. But wait a minute, we're all promoters now, right?
Yeah.
Riyadh is taking over this shit. So if I'm Oscar's fighters, man, I kind of got to tell Oscar, you might have to tone it down. Right? Because your actions might be reflecting on us, because all he's going to do, and look, he got Cepeda at a cheaper price now. Cepeda, you got annihilated. It wasn't even a fight. Here, we'll give you $1 million for your next fight over here in Riyadh. And there's nothing Cepeda could do about it, because it's either that or go back and hope that Oscar can get you a fight with someone who's not already working with Riyadh. And that's going to be hard, as we've seen. And I'm jumping here, but I'm just using an example. PBC guys are now fighting in Riyadh. Right?
Yep, sure are.
So it's happening. I think Oscar should tone it down, man. I really do. Yeah, that I wanted to tell you that could be a reflection of the scorecards on why they just don't want to deal with that, man. He's a little too much, Miguel. Miguel, they barely got into the party scene. Oscar's like, Oscar has not barely gotten into the party scene. He's the guy. He's the friend that always fucks up. You know what I'm saying? Like so.
They say in the boxing game, right? Like there's levels to this thing. Well, there's levels to the party game too. And Oscar's way the hell up here already, and Riyadh is barely like opening the door.
Yes.
So they're on their way. In regards to the scorecards, in the earlier bout, Sabria Matias was like coming forward, and they ended up giving him the victory. And then this fight here with Cepeda, I thought, because Puello did okay, but enough to keep his belt. I thought, okay, yeah, he's sure. That's how it should have been. I think Puello did actually win, in my opinion. But they gave it to Sabrias, and I thought maybe because he was going, Matias, because he was going forward most of the time. So then I see, like, all right, Cepeda's coming forward all the time, but getting picked apart, of course. But I thought it was going to have it a lot closer, because I thought that's what the judges were looking for. Again, they're not the same judges. I understand that, but I just thought maybe Matias was coming forward, getting tagged like a mother. Yes, he did some damage, but he was getting tagged, and he ended up coming away with the win. I thought Cepeda would. That was kind of where I was going with that. But
that was the only fight I got wrong, bro.
Matias
I took Taylor, Puello, Shiraz, and Shakur.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the only one I got wrong, was a fucking Puello. And I took it for that reason, because Matias got outboxed before. So I was like, I don't have no confidence in him. You know what I mean? But then I heard that on the telecast when they said that he, even though he was the aggressor, they scored on his aggression or whatever. Yeah, I heard that during the telecast.
So that being said,
that made me nervous for the Shakur Cepeda fight. It was like they kind of played with us right there, right?
Yeah. They're like, we're gonna keep you guys on your toes.
Yeah.
So from that, going on back to the main event here with Shiraz and Berlanga. So His Excellency has said, Turkey, he said that he anticipated, whoever wins this fight is going to have Canelo's going to get Canelo next, right? Frank Warren himself has said, hey, Shiraz beats Canelo and Crawford on the same day. No, he didn't say this part. I just but anyway, but he said he beats them both. It's like, all right, hold on. Is Shiraz that guy? Is he? I mean, he's arrived, but just barely, right? Not yet. To say that they're gonna toss him at Canelo seems a little too fast. But that's what whatever His Excellency wants. I suppose that's what Turkey's gonna get. So, you think that's gonna happen next? You think Shiraz is gonna get? I mean, I don't know if it's gonna be Canelo, because I'm thinking. I assume they meant should Canelo beat Crawford, and then that'll be the case right there. But let's go down that rabbit hole. Let's say Canelo, he beats Crawford in September. You think they make Canelo and Shiraz next?
I know they're really high on this young man going into the fight. Frank Warren was high on him, talking about his work in the UK. Did he represent in the Olympics, Shiraz? Do we know if he was an Olympic representative? Because that would tell us a lot, Miguel, on why they're rushing him up the rankings. Is if he has that type of pedigree where he actually did go to the Olympics and placed, or was even just participating. Yes, the young man has more skills than I gave him credit for going into the fight with Berlanga. Then he ices Berlanga in a total dominant fashion. Yeah, dude, he would. In America, if you're an Olympian, you ice your come out fight, you get an A+. Most of the time, you do get a world champion your next fight. And right now, because that division only has one, he would get him.
So it doesn't look like it, from what I can tell. I just pulled him up real quick on Wiki.
Yeah, Yeah.
This is I believe a quote on him. It says, "I never set sights on being an Olympian, going to World Amateur Championships, this, that, and the other. It's difficult to explain, but I just didn't have that much interest in it. The professional game of winning pro titles just much more appealing to me." So that's him, a quote there from back then. So it looks like he did have some amateur, right? But he went directly. He says, according to what Wiki says, he became disillusioned with the sport after being overlooked for the Commonwealth Youth Championships that took over, and then focused. And then he ended up being, then he took on becoming like an electrician's apprenticeship. That's what it said afterwards. That's what's going. And then, of course, he became pro. But yeah, it just didn't look like Olympics was in his future. It didn't look like he was interested in it at all. And he was really more so interested in the pros. And that's where he's at right now. So, so yeah. So I'm no Olympic stuff. Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to say he should jump all the way to the top, But like I said, because Canelo owns all the titles, and I got to tell you another thing. His Excellency might be putting Canelo's name attached to too many fighters without actually even seeing what's going on with September 13th yet. Like David Benavidez just announced, "Oh yeah, he told me I'm fighting Canelo next year." Did you? I don't know if you've seen that, but David Benavidez.
I just saw like him and his what's the word? His conditions, his terms, saying like, "Oh yeah, if I fight him, it's gonna be 175 or something like that, or light heavyweight." I don't know where he gets off that, but go ahead.
I seen where he said that. Then you have them announcing Shiraz is getting them in May of 2026 already. Like it's already sealed. May. It's Cinco de Mayo. Like, hold the fuck on. He hasn't even beat Terrence Crawford. I thought Terrence was a bad dude. Last time I checked, Terrence is pretty good. I know that weight thing is big, but I just don't count your chickens before the eggs hatch kind of thing.
It's
like
just
damn,
like
dude,
a formality for them. It's just like, it's gonna happen, sure.
We already got 2 fights planned for Canelo after Terrence.
Yeah, I'm anticipating, Canelo at some point being like, hey, tone it down, Like we haven't even got past Terrence yet. Let me get past this dude before I start thinking about anybody else. So yeah, I too think it's a little too fast. I mean, obviously, Frank Warren is saying that he's ready for him and he beats him and Crawford. I mean, maybe he beats Crawford. Maybe that size is just too much. Who the fuck knows?
It's too much. Come on.
It's not just. Yeah, it's not just because one of the things that makes Crawford and Canelo a little more intriguing is the fact that their height is pretty close to one another, right? It's not just the weight. It's not just Crawford moving up this much. If he were to move up that much and fight somebody like Shiraz, dude, you'd be giving up weight and height. That's just too much.
It seems like too much. And look, we got to go back to Terrence Crawford's video, Miguel. The man said it himself 2 years ago when they asked him about Crawford. I mean, about Canelo. He goes, "No, there's levels to this. That's why there's weight divisions, blah, blah, blah." He says it himself only to get shown a few extra dollars. Now he wants to do it. In the back of his mind, he would still know that Shiraz, even if he gets past Canelo, I mean, what the fuck, man? Height, reach, size, weight, like
youth. Shit, he's got more. Yeah. Have you seen the controversy of Hamza Shiraz's hand wraps? Have you read that? The pictures I don't know. Are they looking too much into it? They don't look out of the norm. Yes, it was only 4 or 5 rounds. It wasn't like it was too much, and it wasn't like his hand got cut or bloody. Like, cause sometimes that happens. The knuckles will bleed or whatever, and you can see it through the gauze. But it didn't look too out of the ordinary. I mean, that's just how it looks, right?
There was a weirdness to the hand wrap. It didn't look like the ordinary hand wrap to me, in my opinion. I didn't like how the knuckles, they did look more swollen than they
were bulging up a little more.
They were bulging up. But I'm no hand specialist. What I'm questioning is why weren't the hand wraps cut off? And if they weren't cut off, where did they go? And why didn't the commissions? Like, if I'm Berlanga's team, I'd be investigating that pretty hard. Oh, I don't want to say lawyer up, huh? He'd be a bitch, huh? I'm definitely getting my team to look at why there's a rumor going around that these hand wraps weren't inspected after the fight by the commission. That's a huge no-no, right? So if that happens, I don't know where. And then people, maybe they need to bring those out in public. That's one thing bad about social media and how easy a rumor can get started and how easy you can kill a rumor. You want to kill this rumor? Show us the hand wraps. That's it. We know they're in your bag. We know they're in the. You didn't throw them out. That's your first big fight. They're somewhere, right? If they're legit. But if not, you want to go and say, "Oh no, they're gone. I don't know what happened to them." Well, then this conspiracy is always going to be out there, and like Miguel Cotto versus Margarito, they're going to be showing that one photo of and Tyson Fury's fucking glove, right? That's one thing about boxing. That's one thing about social media. I hate all the fucking conspiracies, right? It's a conspiracy. Fucking natural disaster happens, a conspiracy. Everything's a conspiracy nowadays. Now we're on to the Shiraz hand wrap conspiracy. Easily can be found to be innocent by just releasing them, or the commission coming out and going, "No, stop it. We did look at them. They were fine. There was no plaster in them. No extra wraps." But yeah, I did see it. I don't know if it's just the new generation of, "Oh, did I lose? Was something must have been wrong."
Yeah, it wasn't that I got punched with that shit in my face. It was, it wasn't that. It wasn't that my face was there to get hit. No, of course not. It was that he had fake jewelry on or some shit.
And what's bad about social media is everyone has a prediction, then they have to come back and clear up why their prediction went south. And if they have enough assholes that agree with their asshole excuse, well, now here we got a bunch of assholes on one chat room all saying the same shit, and it starts looking real.
Yeah. What did you think of Jim Lampley being back on the mic? It sounded like he was a lot smoother, right? Like he wasn't fumbling over his words the way he was, or like wrong names or whatever, the way he was doing on that New York card back in May. It was I don't know. Oh, you know what? Real quick, but when you were talking about, and I remember this, which is why I remember Jim Lampley. But he was when we were talking about it earlier, and Shiraz's size and his bulk. I guess he's scrawny, but he's tall as fuck. He's got humongous feet. And what's his name? Jim Lampley mentioned it, because there was actually stepping on each other's feet, Berlang and Shiraz, and he was like, "Oh yeah, there's probably where some of his weight is right there, right in his feet. He's got some huge ass feet, dude. Shiraz got some big old feet." So anyway, just thought I'd throw that in there because Jim Lampley did mention it during the fight. But anyway, what you think about Lampley back on the mic?
I like it. Lampley will be Lampley. Yeah, he had a rough start, but like you had said back then, it was his first time coming out of retirement. Let's give him a few fights. Second fight was a lot smoother. So, it's Lampley, bro. Let's keep him there. Let's keep this thing going. Overall, I was happy with the what is it called? The program of Riyadh, what they put out.
Yeah,
good fights. Good fights, nothing fucked up, and in my opinion, no controversial decisions or anything that would make me think that His Excellency's favoritism had gotten involved at any part of this game. Now the scorecard with the Cepeda and Shakur, you want to give them 2 or 3 points. That's I wouldn't argue that. And yeah, I would tell Oscar to tone it down, because I don't know how much he's actually being liked right now behind closed doors. And out in the public is a totally different thing. Behind closed doors might be like, I can't stand that fucking man.
Here's to add a little bit more fuel to the conspiracy theory fire. It just came to me just now because I'm a genius. No, I'm kidding. But let's say Shiraz did have something in his raps. He is the favorite, right? He's the favored. He's the son. He's the guy who's arrived. And what if Turkey's like, yeah, give me the hand wraps soon? We don't know. But it's like,
but that's where Turkey messed up for putting the fight in America, right? So that's where the New York Commission would have to step in and go, you know what, dude, I don't know where you're from, but here we're not playing this fucking ball game. Yeah. Now, if this was in Riyadh, I would totally go, yeah, that's probably exactly what happened. It's the old, what did Frankie Randall got to walk right out of the Chavez fight without a pre-fight drug test? And Don King said, don't worry. What the fuck? So we're not doing a test? Let's just move on to the rematch. I think he fought through 3 broken ribs that night.
Oh, yeah, yeah. The first fight, right? The
The
first one.
first fight, yes,
Yeah,
sir. The first
I remember my uncle looking at his face because my uncle suspected something, but we don't fucking know. And he's like, damn, his eyes look like he's fucking crying. Those damn punches are just landing, but he keeps coming. It's like he looks like he's fucking crying, but the dude's just taking all their shots. So
yeah.
R.I.P. Frankie Randall. All right. So I know we might be a little bit short on time because we want to get you out of here at a good time. So let's go ahead and get some of these here. First off, Gervonta Tank Davis gets arrested on some domestic abuse stuff. Let me go ahead and pull this up real quick. According to reports, Gervonta Davis was arrested in Miami Beach for domestic violence following a June 15th incident involving his ex-girlfriend. Police say a custody exchange turned physical, and Davis was located after a license plate reader flagged his vehicle. So I guess something happened. He booked it. They found his ass because of his license plate, and they're like, "Hey, your ass is going to jail." I don't know if this is. I mean, it's serious as it is. Obviously he's arrested because of that, and the charge itself is serious. Whether or not that somehow impacts his fight coming up with Lamont Roach Jr. and we're getting that rematch. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be that serious. I don't know if they're going to cut on some slack and let the fight happen anyway, because there's some money there, right? So like, yeah, go ahead and make some money. You're going to pay us anyway. The court. I'm saying, but damn it, Gervonta, you just can't stay out of fucking trouble, can you?
From what I'm hearing, there's a video that was recorded by the mother-in-law on the incident. So I don't know how much she got of the striking. I believe that she does have a video of Gervonta throwing something at his baby mama. That's assault right there. That's on video. So we'll see where that goes. But she's also claiming that he struck her behind the head. Being the prodigy of Floyd Mayweather, we know about the striking behind the head thing, which
Right.
is very sad.
The rabbit shots.
That she's even saying that, because that was like Floyd 101, right? It's gonna be sad if he doesn't finish off his career because of these type of run-in with the laws. The guy's had so many. You got to think that at some point the judge might get fed up, right? We're talking about a guy who left house arrest to go to a hotel and then told the judge that he wanted to switch the address. Like, these are the kind of little bullshit things that Gervonta's done that just hits a car with I think she was pregnant. The car that he fucking T-boned, walks away from. This one is his baby's mother. You're striking her in front of the child. You're throwing things at her in front of He acts like a huge child himself. He might need some growing up. I know he's a boxer. Bad dude. But maybe it's time for him to go play with the big boys in prison. Those guys that will fucking poke you. They're not all about fighting, Gervonta. Yeah. They'll bring that hammer with them. They'll bring that fucking switch with them, bro.
They'll bring that weight wrapped in a bandana real quick.
Yeah, so it's maybe the judge says it's time for you to go play with the big boys. You think you're so badass on this fucking streets to see your little 130-pound ass in there with fucking some of these dudes that are 250, 300 pounds going to push your ass around. I don't give a fuck how big of a boxer you are. The hardest three come for you, you're going to get taken down. This is unless you're motherfucking Mike Tyson, the heavyweight champ of the world. I got no confidence that 130, 135-pound man is taking on three of the baddest in that fucking prison cell. You know what I'm saying? So
especially if they watch that video of him and who's Adrian Broner and somebody else like hitching, right, dancing like that. It's like, oh yes, this is how you kind of come into this.
There's been many videos with Gervonta. Yeah, Gervonta's been suspect for a while. I know he has a baby mama, but yeah, you're absolutely right, bro. He's put a lot of videos out there. Makes you go,
Yeah, makes you question a lot of things about him.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe I don't remember if there's like a specific date for him and Lamont Roach Jr. yet. I know that it was signed.
Let me ask you, Miguel. When's enough? When's enough?
I think it already was enough. We're over it at this point. It's over the line at this point.
So I think if that mom has some bad evidence on him, might be time to just forget about Gervonta. Just go ahead and let him go ahead and figure out his personal issues before we talk about him and Roach. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to give
Shakur for that matter.
You're right. I don't want to give him too much credit. not too much airwaves until we see, or what's it, publicity? Is that the word I'm looking for? Until we see what's going on with him in this new case. Because even if he gets a year, even if he gets 2 years, dude, that's his career. He's already in his 30s, bro. So.
Yeah, that the what do they call him? The 30-year-old prospect. I hear that a lot.
I know. Right?
Oh gosh, yeah.
We talk very highly of him, bro, and he's done nothing as far as the resume as some of these other guys in the sport. He's got the win over fucking Diva Boy, Mr. Celebrity himself, because he's done nothing.
Yeah,
and then Ryan opening his mouth during this weekend. During what fight did Ryan give it? Oh, I think the Berlanga fight. He tweeted, I was like, dude, shut the fuck up. You just lost to Rolly Romero. You just lost to a guy that you told everyone you were going to retire. Stop it. Go back to your closet, dude.
Oh my. But yeah, so Gervonta, get your shit straight, please, because we want to see you. We want to see you in the ring. We want to see you throw hands in the ring, please. All right, so that takes us to the Ring 4. It was announced. Let me go ahead and pull up this Ring Magazine post on Instagram announcement. The Ring 4, quote unquote, Night of the Champions will take place on November 22nd in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, exclusively on DAZN, with David Benavidez defending his WBC light heavyweight world title against Anthony Yarde in the main event. In the co-main event, we got Devin Haney versus Brian Norman Jr. All right. Below that, we have Abdullah Mason taking on Sam Noakes, if I'm pronouncing that last name correctly. And lastly, Bam Rodriguez taking on Fernando Martinez. That's going to be a pretty damn stat card. I know there's a lot to talk about in regards to Abdullah and even Benavidez, but Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr. Now, low-key, I kind of wanted that fight to be the main event. I think that one's got like the most juice. I mean, hell, that one thing is the most. Maybe it's just for us, more hardcore fans and not so much the casual fan. But that one, man, I would have hella been down. I would much rather prefer that be the main event. I know, I guess weight matters. I don't know. David Benavidez, Anthony Yarde, okay, I'll take it. That's good enough for me, but not as a main event over this kind of fight with Haney and Brian Norman Jr. Because if you watch the videos that I sent you, the ones that you sent me, Norman and Haney have been at it outside of the ring. They've been going at it. There was a video of even them face to face where somebody, I don't know who the hell that was, got in and separated them and literally ripped Brian Norman Jr.'s shirt. He was trying to push him off with his shirt, and it ended up tearing. So there's a lot more heat there than I think that makes the fight juicier, obviously, for us, right? For our outside fans. And I would much rather that fight be the main event. But regardless, it seems as though it's going to be main evented by Yarde and Benavidez. But overall, that's a pretty damn good card. It's going to be on the 22nd of November in Saudi Arabia. What do you think of that one?
Yeah, no, it's a decent card. Well, it's more than a decent card. It's a good card. I agree with you that I don't really like the main event, though. That should be an undercard fight. They're just trying to hype up Benavidez. They're trying to put a guy in there that he can knock out, hopefully. He hasn't had a knockout, I don't think, at light heavyweight, right? Or is that Ramirez, Gilberto Ramirez? I don't think he has had one at cruiserweight. But Yarde is a stepping stone. Can we say that? He's a gatekeeper. He's not a contender. He's you know what I mean? That's not a main event. Where fucking Norman Jr. and Haney are two undefeated, or one undefeated, two world champ. We all know Haney's resume. It's the better fight. It's absolutely a better fight. Stop it. They're hyping up David Benavidez in hopes that he can land bigger bigger money to get him Canelo, and they can all make money. But the real fight of that night, sort of like this weekend too. I think many felt Cepeda versus Shakur was the main event. That fight is also, and I guess that's a great thing for boxing right now, right? When have we ever had two fights back to back where we're talking about the co-main event is actually the main event? Maybe that's a good thing for us. We shouldn't be so spoiled. We shouldn't be so, what is it? What is it? What is the word I'm looking for, Miguel?
Ungrateful.
Ungrateful. My children. Yeah, we tell my children that all the time.
Yeah, be appreciative. Eat your fucking Rice.
Oh, bro, you'll give him everything. I know we all heard the jokes, but you give him everything, bro. The first time you say no, they'll tell it's the worst day ever. Worst day ever. What the fuck? It's 7 p.m. We just did everything you wanted the whole day. Now no to the ungrateful is the word. So yeah, look, cool card. Love Bam Rodriguez. You know he always brings it. You know what I mean? Haney's got a lot of questions to answer. I'm kind of more excited. Look, Haney's fallen off a lot, man. He hasn't really rebounded. Since now he has the domestic thing himself floating over his head. His style, his fakeness. I'm just a little bit more into Brian Norman Jr. right now to see what that young man's all about. But if Haney wins, he wins. He is he's the one that I text you. He's just fake all the way around. You know, like Haney was just a boxer. Haney, I don't think could do shit on the street. But if his dad said, no, you know what, my son will meet you in the boxing ring, then he'd beat the shit out of any kid that they put in the ring. You know what I mean? Then you put him on the street, he gets slapped again and runs home. That's just how I feel Devin Haney's whole life has been. He's only been a boxer. You know what I'm saying? And he's trying to be something else right now that he just isn't. I wish he would have just stuck to the American dream, the good guy role. You know, now his dad's like this ex-pimp who, I don't know if he does coke or not, but has a lot of videos of playing with his nose himself and a lot of rumors. And like I said, Miguel, social media is one where you can end a rumor really fast if you are the main character. Bill Haney's the main character in these rumors. Why wouldn't he come out and say what he has to say when people are putting videos out there like him? We know why Oscar doesn't say it. So maybe his silence is his answer.
Is Devin maybe trying overcompensating after what happened with Ryan and everybody basically calling him a bitch because having taken Ryan to court and all this other stuff? Now he's like, oh damn, okay, let me go ahead and regain my street cred to some degree, and then have these issues outside of the ring to make himself look harder.
That's what it seems like. Look, we've all been told, it's not just me. Andre Ward has spoke on it. Who else spoke on it? There was a few African-American fighters that had talked about the way they're blackballed if they're not street. What is it? Street fame, right? Yeah. They got their hood fame. They got their clout, whatever. If they don't roll with that type of group, they usually don't become successful on the ticket sales. It's kind of weird, right? It's just a kind of weird argument that they have, but they have it. And Haney absolutely fell into that category where he was just too good, right? The American dream. American dream. I can see. Could you imagine Haney being called the American dream during the woke time? Oh my God. They would have butchered that young man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You living a lie. He's making $1 million. He's like, what? They just paid me. I'm a millionaire, but whatever. But anyways, so yeah, yes, I totally do think that he's trying to make up for the loss in all the wrong ways. And even his dad is seriously, his dad hasn't made the best decision since that defeat himself on just the videos that he puts out, the way that he's holding himself, a little too much about him. And I got to say, Brian Norman Jr.'s father, even though he's very soft spoken, seems intelligent. Did you hear him say that Haney was ruining his brand? I was like, your brand? Your brand. I didn't know Brian Norman Jr.'s father had a brand. Weird. But it seems like we got another father who would be. Oh, yeah. The kids literally, they asked me at the gym, you going to be that type of Jed? This and all the other little kids. Yeah. I go, I hope not. I mean, what the fuck? I didn't know.
No, we're not gonna hear you at the sparring sessions and be like, hey, don't be fucking up my brand, kid.
Yeah. Fucking weird. My kid don't fight nothing less than 25 million.
Yeah. It's like, but dad, it's like, shut up. The 25 million, I said. Oh, jeez. All right. Well, that leads us to this weekend. And before, I know we're kind of slowly running out of time.
Why don't we just do another show?
You want to do another show?
We have a whole pay-per-view card we have to go over, right?
We do, yes. And Usyk and Dubois.
Yeah, bro. Come on. There's no way we're going to get that done right now. It's all right. They get more stuff.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I just, I'm sorry to give you guys blue balls here. I did say it at the very beginning of the show, so my bad, my bad. But let's go ahead and do that. That is not a bad idea, Andrew. Let's do that. So if you guys were waiting to the end, I'm sorry, but we'll definitely make it up by doing another show because we had a lot to talk about. Very few times do we get 2 weekends back to back. Oftentimes it's like, all right, we got a fight coming up. We have plenty of time on the weekend before to do the show for that one, and this one is just like, holy shit. Rarely do we get 2 back-to-back cards like that with that Ring 3 card, and then this one coming up the PBC with Barrios and Pacquiao and Dubois and Usyk. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and give them another show. I'm sure other stuff is going to pop up, and we can even include more things there. But let's go ahead and wrap this one up. Not a bad idea, Andrew. Anything else you wanted to add to this before we proceed to give our fans blue balls until tomorrow or the next day?
No, I already wasted it with the De La Hoya one. Now I just thought about it. That was going to be my closing argument, was Oscar's antics need to chill because it could be affecting other fighters.
We've heard Canelo himself say, "But like, dude, no, that fucker, that dude's crazy. I'm out of here." That's one of the reasons why he wanted to book it. One of the reasons. I'm sure there are plenty more had to do with the zone, but regardless.
Then the whole wig thing, like immediately after.
I know, right?
I know he's just playing, but
he's just trolling. I know, yeah, he's trolling us, but
some people don't take that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially when he's done stuff before where he wasn't necessarily trolling us with his fake abs and his fucking thong or whatever, right? It's like, all right, dude, and then he does this and he's like, oh yeah, I was just joking. It's like, oh, were you joking the other time too? Because they didn't look like you were joking on me.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're gonna wrap this up. We'll have another show specifically for Dubois and Usyk 2, I should say Usyk Dubois 2, and the PBC card later this weekend. So, on that note, for my co-host Andrew, don't get it twisted, Lapache, this has been Miguel Antonio Barragan, aka Fight Fiend Migs, and this is the Mad Boxing Show. We will see you guys in a few days with a new show, and enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.